A pair of mammoth losses for the women's team as the regular season winds down.
Some struggles on the court and a streak on the field. Temple Lacrosse's win streak has the team rising in the national ranks. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now. Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of OwlSports Update. He's Josh Safran, I'm Luke Milai, and it's our last live show before spring break. Before we get off the airwaves and any handheld device you might stash away in your pocket, we've got some teams surging at the right time.
Yeah, no team is making a late surge quite like the men's basketball team, while still missing some big names here.
The Owls took a trip to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats in their cherry unis. Temple's leading scorer, Damian Dunn, added 15 points in his return from a two-game absence. Then it's Ty Strickland coming off the screen and drilling the three as the Owls shot a red-hot 80% from beyond the arc in the first half, getting out to a 14-point lead going to the break. Then, off the offensive rebound, it's Hyzier Miller. All three of these. Miller had a career-high 13 points. Nick Jourdain's post fade puts the Owls ahead by 16, but the Bearcats weren't dead yet. David DeJulius driving, floating, scoring 2 of his 13 to cut the lead down to 5. But in the end, the Owls put the game away at the line and win it 75-71. This marks Temple's first win in Cincy in over 2,000 days. That's a lot of fingers and toes.
We're going to get after you for 40 minutes, and that's been our mindset, this latter part of the year. And I think once that keeps clicking for us and it keeps, it grasps every guy's mentality, I think we'll be able to win more games and go on more streaks. But, we're still taking it game by game. We got a few more games until the regular season, and we go into conference tourney play. So I think everyone is in a good spot mentally, physically.
Yeah, it's that time of year. It's why you have 13 guys on the roster and, other guys. Unfortunately for us, we got so many guys that's out. We just have to play the guys that's available, even if that means digging deeper into to the bench.
Back-to-back conference wins with some key guys out due to injury means that some other Owls have unlocked their potential as of late.
We've seen some first-year guys step up like Hyzier Miller and Jaleel White. But what's been even more impressive, the leaps that some of these Temple players have taken from year 1 to year 2. One Owl yet to hit the injury report and one of 3 players to play in every game this season. Nick Jourdain has been more than just the team's Iron Man. Jourdain has shown as much growth as anyone on the team, increasing his scoring, rebounding, and steals averages from last year. His success isn't limited to the confines of the Liacouras Center either. Jourdain is second in the entire AAC in both blocks and offensive rebounds. He's making the gritty plays on defense and getting the team extra possessions on offense. Jourdain has been one of the most productive Owls this season. Yeah, look, some say lethal, but we like to call it Jourdaingerous. Moving from the front court to the back court, let's take a look at AAC Conference Player of the Week, Ty Strickland. When Ty transferred from Wisconsin, we simply knew him as the son of Rod Strickland and hoped he could come close to replicating Daddy's game. Well, wish granted. Ty used those famous Strickland handles and cut in and out of the SMU defense to the tune of a career-high 27 points en route to Temple's upset victory. Then against Cincy, with Damian Dunn coming off the bench, Strickland got the start, and he also got the win, adding 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals to his career week.
OwlSports Update's Christina Pomales previews the rest of Temple's season, starting with this Memphis game.
Thank you, guys. The Temple's Owls are flying down to Memphis today to take the Tigers for the first time in the season. In January, Memphis coach Penny Hardaway made headlines for an expletive-ridden rant following a 3-game losing streak where the team's starting lineup were affected by injuries.
Say to this media, because this media gets kind of up sometimes when it comes to me. We don't have our full roster.
Since the rant and Hardaway's apology, the team kicked back up with a 6-game win streak until their most recent loss to SMAU. The Temple Owls are no strangers to injuries. with their recent game against the SMU missing Damian Dunn and Jeremiah Williams, while Aaron McKee has expressed he never planned on using the bench this much throughout the season. The six-man eventually has been a staple of Temple's men's basketball this spring. The Temple Owls have 2 home and 2 away games before the end of the season before heading to Dallas to the AAC tournament. Luke and Josh, back to the studio.
Down in Houston, Temple in cherry and Houston in white. Early on, Layla Blair here using her body to shield Tiara East and scoops one in, but Mia Davis sees her layup and raises you one. A 3-point play for Davis. Now check out the move from Tiara Young. Crossover, pull up, pure from mid-range. The Owls hanging around, however, a kick out to the sniper, Karanda Perea. She gets the triple to take a Temple lead. Perea hit 4 3-pointers in this game. Now in the second half, Houston starts running away with it. There's Bree Patterson with the and one. Then a little later, Tiara Young pump fakes, finds Brittany Onyeje on the wing, who rises up and cashes in the triple for an early dagger. Temple loses big, 80-60. Now we'll go back a few days to last Saturday where the Owls took on UCF and things weren't any better. Owls in the white, and they get the game started with a Kira Wood post move. However, that's just about the only positive for Temple. They led for just 64 seconds of this entire game. And we love talking about career highs, but how about career lows? The all-time leading scorer for Temple, Mia Davis, scored just 1 point in this game. Her career low is actually 0, but that happened in January of 2018. Here's Alicia Lewis knocking down a triple for the Knights. Lewis was an astounding 4 of 5 from 3, and UCF forces 21 turnovers and boat races Temple 68-31. First break of the day, but when we come back, we're talking about some red-hot Olympic teams on campus.
We've also got some reigning conference champs on the other side. Plus,
I'm Matt Rainier, live here at Howard Field, and I'll be going over the recent success of the nationally ranked Temple lacrosse team. OwlSports Update is back in 90 seconds.
welcome back to OwlSports Update. The lacrosse team wore their cherry threads for a trip to Sean Sweeney Field to take on Big 5 rival St. Joe's. But how about the Big 4? Bel Mastro-Pietro had 4 goals in the first 4 minutes of the game. Not to be outdone, Quinn Nicolai added her first of 7 goals on the afternoon. Temple got out to an 8-2 first quarter lead. In the second half, the Hawks came roaring back. First, Riley Fusco cuts it to 4, then Sofia Kolka makes it a 3-goal game. In the final period, Quinn Nicolai slams the door shut on the Hawks' comeback. Temple wins it 15-11. The Owls move to 3-0 for the first time since 2015. Bonnie Rosen's squad took down both Big 5 opponents on their schedule for the second straight season, beating Villanova for Rosen's 200th career win and St. Joe's to stay perfect at 3-0. The Owls are 20-9 against Big 5 opponents in the last decade.
So Hall of Fame coach, 3 statement victories to start the season, and a number 20 ranking next to their name. The real test comes Saturday when the Owls visit the 11th-ranked Princeton Tigers. OwlSports Update's Matt Rainier is at the Temple Sports Complex to break down the Owls' first game versus a ranked opponent. Hey, Matt.
Thanks, Josh. The team is off to a great start, currently 3-0, and their average margin of victory so far has been nearly 7 goals per game. But the Owls are in for arguably their toughest test of the season yet. The Owls will kick off a 3-game road trip against number 11 Princeton on Saturday. If the Owls want to come out on top on this one, they're going to need to rely on their top 2 scorers in Bel Mastro-Pietro and recent graduate transfer Quinn Nicolai to come out on top on this one. After this tough stretch, the Owls will return home and remain on North Broad for nearly 3 weeks. Some tough non-conference opponents include Rutgers and Syracuse before they face against conference opponents in about 1 month. Now, given all of this tough and all these factors, I'm going to predict that this team finishes with at least 11 wins and finds a way to get to the AAC championship game. Reporting live from Howard Field, I'm Matt Rainier. OwlSports Update, Luke and Josh, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Matt. The gymnastics team took the mats this weekend in front of a season-high crowd of nearly 900. Juliana Rowland got the day started on the vault for Temple, posting a score of 9.275 and letting the crowd hear about it. She earned a 5th place finish. The Stalling sisters led the way for the Owls on bars, with Hannah putting up her 6th straight performance of at least 9.7 and Sarah earning a 9.8, tying a career best. In a meet that Temple trailed late, the Owls relied heavily on Ariana Castrense's first all-around performance of the season. Castrense secured at least a 9.8 on the beam and the vault to spring the Owls to victory. Temple takes down Yale to pick up its 7th victory of the season.
Certainly a gutsy win against the former ECAC rivals in the form of Yale, but these aren't the ECAC days anymore, and Temple now has high expectations, being the reigning Eagle champs.
And what better way to judge the season at the midway point than to give our grades on the squad so far?
I give the season a B+, but it can shoot up to an A in a heartbeat with a win against NC State this week. Last season, Temple started winless in 13 meets, but so many of those meets were decided by less than a point. This season, the Owls are finding themselves on the winning side of these tough matchups and have a high score of 195.8, which they achieved in their 3rd meet. This unit didn't hit 195.8 until its 9th meet last season.
I'm almost there with you, Josh, but right now, my grade is a B. Yes, they're off to a better start, but I want to see the reigning Eagle champs improve on their 2-3 conference record before dishing out any high grades. To earn a B, though, there still has to be some positives, and Temple did collect one of its most significant wins in recent memory, taking down 23rd-ranked Iowa State earlier this season, the first win over a Big 12 opponent in program history.
And as mentioned, the team is off to a much better start this season. However, when the Owls first joined Eagle, it didn't look like their ECAC success could transfer over. But that slow start turned into a championship run thanks to an incentive from coach Josh Nielsen that will last a lifetime. After starting the season winless in their first 13 meets, the Owls still found a way to shock just about everyone on their way to winning the Eagle Championship. The turnaround included a new focus, maybe. A new attitude, possibly. Maybe with some creativity that started with a chemistry lesson.
I was actually getting on them one day, and I said, you guys are training at like it's 211 degrees. And none of them had a clue what it meant. So I had to explain 212, water turns to steam, and then it became a whole thing.
So for like the whole season, we were almost there, and then so we were at 211 is what we said.
And that chemistry lesson ended with some art and a team guarantee.
The night before Eagle, we had a meeting, and I said, look, ladies, you can do 3 things. You can either get a 197, go to postseason, or win Eagle, and I'll get the 212 tattooed on my body.
The team finished the regular season winning 3 of its final 4 meets, getting hot at the right time and ending that hot streak with a league title and a tattoo on the forearm.
I don't even know, like, winning championships was on our minds at that point. Once, like, vault ended and we looked up top, I was like, wow, like, we actually, like, very much won this.
But winning the championship was on literally one person's mind for months prior to the season finale.
We do a preseason coaches poll, and Temple got 1 first-place vote, and that was me. I didn't make any friends. They're like, who's this new guy? Like, what the heck is he thinking?
This year, the Owls look like they've started the season close to that boiling point of 212 degrees, which means it doesn't look like Coach Nielsen will need to add any new tattoos. That is, unless he wants to add something like a 215 to his other forearm to go along with his 212.
Up next, Portugal, Boston, Rochester. These are just a few of the cities where former Owls play soccer professionally. We go international when OwlSports Update returns.
In 2020, Temple's indoor women's track team took 3rd place at conference championships, its highest finish ever. The key to repeating that mark lies with 2 athletes who've had a monster February. OwlSports Update's Dan Briglia has more.
Temple Track and Field is preparing for the AAC Indoor Championships this weekend. And down the stretch, 2 competitors have been at their best, Tannekee Strachan and Marissa White.
Well, Marissa and Tannekee, they have dedicated themselves to be successful.
Strachan already held Temple's triple jump record, but 3 weeks ago at the Columbia Challenge, she shattered it with a jump of 12.93 meters.
And in the regular season finale almost 2 weeks ago, Marissa White set a personal best of 54.39 in the 400 meters. That's within 1 second of the school record.
Honestly, it feels good. It's like, I know I can do it, but when I actually do it, like, it gives me the confidence to try to do more. So.
Fans can see the times and records, but it's the work no one sees that's most important.
It feels good, to be honest. Like, I mean, posting what you've been doing at training, because nobody really sees what goes behind practicing, the hard work, the sweat, the tears.
Yes, I always gonna say the athletes, if you can't get ready for a championship, then you don't need to be in the sport, because it's a different level, the excitement from the respective teams, and you have to go to the mentality to want to win.
This weekend against the best from the other 10 schools in the American, Strachan and White have the chance to turn that hard work into hardware. From Temple Sports Complex, Dan Briglia, OwlSports Update.
This indoor championship is just hours away, so we have a new segment today. It's Vic's Picks. OwlSports Update's Vic Ragapathy joins the show. Vic, by now we've heard all about Tannekee Strachan's triple jump record. Who else should we watch out for in postseason play?
Thanks, Josh. Well, Tannekee and Marissa aren't the only track stars entering this weekend on a high note. My first pick to keep an eye on is sprinter Shelby Elam. It's been a strong season wire to wire for Elam. She posted her 60-meter dash PR of 7.67 seconds in the season opener. And in the finale in Boston, she was under 0.02 of a second off that time. Good enough for a fourth-place finish. And we've seen my second pick on this show before, pentathlete Sophia Galati. I don't know if there's a harder working individual on the entirety of Temple's campus. The ROTC cadet will do battle with the class of the American after posting her personal best of 33.81 points at Columbia Challenge earlier this month. Again, the conference meet is a 2-day deal starting Friday down in Birmingham, Alabama. That's a wrap on Vic's Picks. Back to you, Josh.
Field hockey is returning in the spring, and here's their schedule. They take on Lehigh, Lafayette, Princeton, and then they have the City 4 tournament, and then they take on Columbia on April 24th. Field hockey isn't the only sport returning in the spring, as men's and women's soccer also make their return to the Temple Sports Complex. Both squads play their first games in mid-March, with the men starting things off on March 11th at home against Drexel. As for the women, they kick things off on March 19th in Queens, New York to take on St. John's. And this is no joke, the women's first home match is on April Fool's Day against Towson. One man that will miss those spring matches is junior Manny Ikiocha. He's signing a contract in the Portuguese Championship League. This move is one of a few that cement Temple men's soccer's reputation as a professional breeding ground. OwlSports Update's Jesse Demich-Louvet has more.
Reaching the professional ranks in any sport is challenging. Soccer is no different. Former Temple midfielder Manny Ikiocha is the 4th player in 4 consecutive years to ink a professional contract.
That's a dream of every kid that plays the sport from a young age.
Coach Rowland is moving into his 5th season as head coach and is no stranger to recruiting top players both domestically and internationally.
Playing in a conference that is one of the best in the country certainly helps us recruit.
Ikiocha joins fellow Owls Lucas Fernandez and Pierre Caillet to become the 7th Owl playing professionally. While Ikiocha will play in Portugal, Fernandez and Caillet have chosen to stay stateside in cities like Pittsburgh and Boston.
Temple does a great job kind of preparing you for those changes that you will see from the college level to the professional level.
Athletes turning pro can also be a challenge for Coach Rowland, losing a player like he did with Ikiocha, who left midway through his junior year after playing only 3 games for the Owls. But the benefits far outweigh the challenges.
The environment that Coach Rowland, Coach Armante, and Coach Shinsky have created over the past 3-4 years has been a great platform.
This time, Lucas Fernandez.
With Temple now established as a launching pad into the pros, it's never too early to start looking for the next pro prospect among current Owls. Reporting from the Temple Sports Complex, I'm Jesse Demich-Louvet, OwlSports Update.
Coming up, one Temple football player has taken his talents to the Liacouras Center to prepare for their professional career in athletics.
And it's also our turn to look ahead to another football season with Temple's 2022 schedule. It's all coming up on the other side. Are you ready for some football? Honestly, I'm still recovering from this past season, but we can't help but look ahead 7 months, especially when a new schedule comes out.
It's time for us to send it over to the man with all the answers. OwlSports Update's Dan Briglia is live at the studio set to tell us more. So Dan, is there anything on the schedule, games or stretches, that stick out to you for Stan Drayton's squad?
Yes. Thanks, guys. Football is back. Well, not yet, but we do have the schedule. After a year of upsetting performances, the Owls are starting over in many ways with its new leadership. The Owls start off the season in North Carolina against Duke, before returning to the Link for a 3-game home stretch against Lafayette, Rutgers, and UMass. Next, they'll fly down to Memphis. These first 5 games are all against teams that went at or below .500 last season. So, September will be very telling, because life gets hard starting in October with this bottom line of games. Just look at the last 3 games. The Owls will face Houston, Cincy, and East Carolina. These 3 beat Temple by an average of 24 points in 2021. While we could talk about last season's results all day, there is new leadership and new talent on Broad that could make this season under Stan Drayton better one to watch. Reporting from the studio set, I'm Dan Briglia. Josh and Luke, back to you at the desk.
Offensive lineman Adam Klein has one of the busiest schedules in Temple athletics. This semester, Klein has taken on a lifestyle that's left him with almost no free time, and that's the way he likes it.
The Temple football season ended on November 27th. After a 12-game season, this is the time most relax and recharge, but not Adam Klein. The senior offensive lineman took an internship through his sport and recreation management major. His job is game day prep for spring sports, 7 in all. It's part of the facilities department of Temple Athletics.
I've had a great time just learning from everybody, kind of just soaking in as much information as I can.
Klein's job includes putting mops out for the ball boys, grabbing heating pads or ice packs for the officials, and even leading the opposing team off its bus into the locker room.
There's no detail too small. We check every little thing. I have a nickname. It's Paranoid Pete.
The job itself isn't new in sports. Every arena and team need a facility staff, but having a student athlete who's 6'5" and 290 pounds is an unusual twist.
This is the first student athlete that we've taken on, and Adam came highly recommended.
The football is over, but the work isn't. Klein still has workouts 5 days a week, and combining that with a 40-hour-per-week internship may be tiring, but it's something that Klein thinks will prepare him for a professional setting post-grad.
Adam is very conscientious. He gets up, he does his morning workouts with football, which means Adam's probably up 4:30, 5 o'clock.
So I could potentially have like a 12-hour, 13-hour day. It's definitely a grind, but I think that is something that you need to be able to get used to in this field.
Student athletes do a lot together, even when on different teams. Klein says that's one of the perks working in facilities. He gets to follow his friends in other sports while on the job. We won't have any live shows for you next week thanks to spring break, but make sure to check out our sports brief on Monday on social media at OwlSports Update. On March 7th, our regular schedule returns with 5 days of brand new content.
Well, that's all the time we have today. The next time we'll be on desk together, kiss the regular season goodbye because it's bracket time and it's right around the corner.
We'll have coverage of both men's and women's basketball tournaments on our social media. As soon as you're done watching our sports brief, head on over to our Twitter and Instagram and keep refreshing the page to get instant updates. Now that's all we've got for today. For Josh Safran, I'm Luke Milai. Have a great day, everyone.